Hey, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NXT 2.0 from July 19th, 2022, live from Orlando, Florida at the CWC. So, coming off of last week's Who Done It episode, which revealed at the end the person who attacked Roxanne Perez at the beginning was Roxanne's own tag team partner champion, Cora Jade. So, we then made sure Cora Jade made sure Roxanne didn't win the NXT title against Mandy last week. So, will we see Cora Jade explain her actions tonight? The answer is yes. And what will happen to the NXT women's tag titles? And our biggest fears happened. Let me just stop everything here. Usually I go through these reviews spoiler free, but my goodness, everybody's fears and thoughts and stuff, especially with the fact that, oh, when Naomi and Sasha walked out, we're going to have a tag title tournament to crown new WWE women's tag team champions. Well, that never happened. If you remember, it was supposed to have some kind of story with Doudrop and Nikki ASH. That entire story was dropped, which tells you right there exactly why we need the tag titles. Sure, some people say, oh, it's just another story about women going for a title, but look we were going to get some kind of story arc with Nikki ASH and Doudrop that was completely dropped once the tag team titles were gone. So the fact that the WWE version of the women's tag titles never returned and haven't been mentioned since told us that when Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez split up 1 week after winning the tag titles in NXT, the women's version or the NXT women's version of the tag titles, um, everyone was fearful that is this the end of women's tag team championship wrestling in all of WWE? And the answer might, unfortunately and terribly, be yes. Whew. Cora Jade tossed the NXT women's tag title in the trash. And sure, it's for some heel heat, but that doesn't give me heel heat towards Cora Jade. That gives me heel heat towards the company that they disrespect women's wrestling at every possible corner. Why would you have the tag titles and then take them away? You've already established that they're a thing. You've already got them established. What is the benefit of getting rid of the women's tag team division? Just get rid of the men's tag team division too. And then while you're at it, just get rid of every single championship title belt. What's the point of it all then? Just get rid of them all. What I don't see any point in establishing a women's tag team division with a women's tag team title that already has a little bit of lineage and history now, and then you just take it away. For what reason? What's the reason here? Because you hate women's wrestling? What is it? So that's disappointing, and that kind of overshadows the entire episode. It's really, really disrespectful to women's wrestling. It's disrespectful to tag team wrestling. It shows all the women on the roster that nobody cares about them. They could take away their title belts at any given point for no good reason. So, of course, I'm not mad at Cora for that. That was just what she was told to do. But it's disrespectful to all the women, no, even if they weren't tag team specialists. It's just ridiculous. So. Anyway, let's move on. And we'll talk about it more when we get there. But we also know what will happen now. It was announced. We know where the NXT women's title is about to head. As it was announced over the weekend, there will be a 20-woman battle royal tonight, with the winner becoming number one contender to Mandy Rose's title. Cora Jade is part of the battle royal, but Roxanne is not listed in the match, probably due to the injuries from last week. So we will have a title match tonight. It's the first ever occurrence the UK NXT UK tag titles will be defended in America when Brooks and Jenson make their first title defense against Pretty Deadly. Also announced for tonight is 2 debuts, but debut is kind of a weird term here, as both A-Kid and Jordan Devlin have wrestled on NXT before. But this will be the first matches for Axiom and JD McDonagh. And we don't know who the former A-Kid, now Axiom, will fight, but we do know the former Jordan Devlin, now JD McDonagh, will fight Cameron Grimes tonight in a match that they set up last week with JD talking trash to a downtrodden and sad Cameron Grimes. So 2 weeks ago, we also saw JD take out Braun Breaker. Will we see Braun Breaker return? And the answer is also yes. So there was one more thing I noticed over the weekend, and that was on the NXT Twitter account. I had said previously on my SmackDown review last Friday that even though SmackDown was in Orlando, no NXT talent appeared. Well, I somewhat lied because I didn't know at the time. Apparently, Solo Sikoa and Von Wagner had a brawl outside the arena Friday at SmackDown. So that brawl that we saw last week between Solo Sikoa and Von Wagner seemingly never stopped, and they fought all the way on Friday as well. So we should see something, and we do about that, but it's nothing very long. It was kind of disappointing and short. Anyway, Joe Gacy also said last week that the dyad or the schism, I'm still kind of unsure if the tag team name is one and the trio's name is another, but kind of like the House of Black and the Kings of the Black Throne. But anyway, they Joe Gacy said the true druids will reveal themselves tonight. And also, if you remember, Roderick Strong wants to teach Damon Kemp a lesson. So will the Diamond Mine be able to survive the night after that? So let's start this week's episode of NXT 2.0. We start with a pretty good and not too long recap of last week's events. No new news about Roxanne's status came out of that, or the explanation from Cora Jade yet. So pretty good recap video. They did some good editing to show the skateboard attack without showing it breaking in half. And we're gonna start with we hear the music of Cameron Grimes, and wow, yeah, this should be easily match of the night, and it probably was. This was a great match. These two guys are the finished product in the ring, Cameron Grimes and Jade McDonagh. When it comes to their in-ring work, they just need to both keep evolving their characters and promos, and they could be the complete package. So this should be a good one since we know they're both in the ring, good in the ring. Will this become the tipping point for Grimes that sends him in the madness, or will Grimes get a huge victory to put him right back in the title picture here? JD McDonagh has had a little bit of break from wrestling since April, although he has had one match in the house show for NXT 2.0 on July 8th, losing to Braun Breaker. So these two have over 1,000 matches combined in their career, but this is the first time that Grimes and JD have ever been in the ring together. Let's see if they can make some magic. Pretty good stuff. I wouldn't call it magic or like the best match of all time, but it was a good match. And then I was also wondering if Braun Breaker is going to show up during the match. He does not, but we do see Braun Breaker later. So they start this match with some grappling, and then the pace quickens after Grimes is able to take control with his speed, and Grimes knocks JD out of the ring, but JD gets fired up and trips Grimes from outside the ring in a really innovative way, kind of like almost the leg scissors from the outside to a tripped Grimes while still outside the ring. That was really cool. So right after that, JD slingshots into the ring with a twist and hits a splash. That was pretty cool. Great flurry to take control. As now we see Joe Gacy is up on the perch smiling, and Grimes sees Joe Gacy as we go to picture-in-picture ad break. So wow, it makes complete sense for Joe Gacy to want to help Grimes. Joe Gacy preys on the weak and the downtrodden. That's how he got the grizzled young veterans. So Gacy tells them what they want to hear until they join him, and then it's too late kind of deal. So really good match so far. JD dominates now with some slow offense during the ad break. Cameron tries to fight back, but his comeback is cut short. Grimes tries again and successfully hits a running crossbody. That looked nice. But Grimes is too hurt to capitalize, but did get to recover a little bit. JD had been working on the knee a lot, and JD goes right back to the knee attacks now. And we're told that Cora Jade will explain her actions after this match. So Grimes is fighting back even though his knee's in trouble and takes control, but his knee's all messed up. JD is able to hit some knee shots even flat on his back to take control, but Grimes fires up anyway. So does the crowd. The crowd is completely behind Grimes right now, so it would be the perfect time for a heel turn for Grimes. Remember, the crowd kind of turned on him a little bit when he stopped being his eccentric character, but now they're back on the side of Grimes, so perfect time to pull the trigger on a heel turn if they wanted to go that route. JD McDonagh now slides out of the ring to recover. The crowd chants, "This is awesome," for a pretty long period of time. Then JD shows more innovation from outside the rings and takes control. Some good moves and innovative moves from JD McDonagh throughout this match. While Grimes was in the ring, JD hits the knee of Grimes onto the ropes. Grimes gets stuck, hung up on the ropes by his bad knee, who then JD gets multiple kicks. Then JD goes from that to hit his finisher, the ripcord back suplex, as Joe Gacy looks on. So that gets the 1-2-3. Your winner by pinfall is JD McDonagh in his debut match. And yeah, we'll see a little bit more about the Joe Gacy and Cameron Grimes a little bit later. Like I was saying, that might be a good decision if they want to turn Grimes heel. So we see in the back, Nikita Lyons says 19 other superstars stand in her way. They're all going over the top rope. They can bring the fight, but I'll bring the heat. And Mandy Rose can then stop ducking and dodging me. And then she super kicks the camera to end the promo. This promo wasn't very good. It was kind of annoying. Nikita has like a super urban accent that sounds really fake. If it is a real accent, my bad, but it seems over the top and fake from Nikita Lyons. I even had to rewind to hear what she said because I didn't listen to the words. I was just like, dang, that accent is thick and fake. So anyway, we now see Cora Jade walking to the ring, and this should be interesting. I wonder if Cora has new music yet or anything else with the presentation. We did get to see Cora's outfit, though. She's wearing all black. So when we come back from the break, Tiffany Stratton shows Nikita how to cut a promo with a perfect promo here. Tiffany says, I find it just so offensive. Avi, I'm the only woman deserving of a title match. If you can't see that, it must be so difficult going through life unaware of your surroundings. You must be living under a rock. So that's something we're going to get throughout the night. Little promos about all the women in the Battle Royal. That will be the main event tonight. So Cora Jade does come out in all black, but she has a new style and stuff, but the same music. That was a little jarring. Cora then tells the crowd to shut up, and she looks really good, and they're all black with that tag title on her shoulder. It's a good look. Cora then says, you all loved me, but then I brought Roxanne and Perez into NXT. You all forgot about me, and it was all about Roxanne. I did find the perfect partner to finally win the tag titles, and I was excited to win the tag titles. But 30 minutes after we won, Roxanne has to put the spotlight back on her when she announced that she wanted to go for the title. Oh, and don't act like you weren't chanting Roxy 2 belts. It's too late to get on my bandwagon now. Let's face it, Roxanne is a selfish bitch. So now Roxanne isn't here with an injured, broken heart. And as for this tag title, all this represents to me now is a lie. And I knew exactly where it was going, and then my heart dropped because, oh my gosh. So this marks the end of a little old naive Jade, and this is the true generation of Jade. And yep, it happens. The women's tag division in NXT and WWE are gone. Cora Jade throws the tag title into the trash. We will probably never see the women's tag title again in WWE or NXT unless someone else takes over, which hopefully they do. But this is so much bull crap, bro. What possible reason would there be to take away tag titles that you've already established? It's not hurting anyone. It can only benefit people. And I can't wait for a women's only company. We have to get a women's only company where all the WWE and AEW women can go to, because nobody's getting respect. We saw over and over in AEW, they always have to rush through their segments. Same with WWE. Last night we saw, they got a second women's match. It was a 6-woman tag, and then it just turned into a 2-minute 6 title changes for the 24/7 division. And Asuka, of all people, was in that match. So WWE, NXT do not care about women's wrestling. They're taking away the tag titles for absolutely no reason. Once you've already had something established, what's the point in taking it away? And it's terrible. So like I said, I'm not mad at Cora Jade for throwing the title in the trash. She's just doing what she's told, but I am mad at whoever's deciding that the women's divisions don't need tag titles. You don't ever give the women any stories anyway, so at least have them have a secondary title to go for, and they can form alliances and then have breakups, and you can tell stories that way. But nope, we don't need tag division in the women's division. So whatever. That's ridiculous. That's disrespectful. That's incompetent. It's just a dumb decision. I'm going to move on, but that's really like this whole episode is overshadowed by the fact that we found out for sure that WWE does not care about the women's division in general, and obviously not the women's tag division, but the women's division in general is not cared about, does not given respect. So at that point, just don't even put them on television. I don't want to watch something and then get invested in it just to have you tell me don't get invested in this. What's the point? What is the point of having something where you invest in it and then you just tell your audience don't care about this? Like how AEW and WWE just quickly rushes their women through whatever segment they have to do so they can quickly get back to the men. Sure, you're putting the women on your television, but you're telling your audience that, oh, don't care about this and don't worry, it'll be over soon, so don't leave. We're going to get back to the men right away because these women, you don't care about them, we don't care about them, so let's just throw them out there. We don't want to get in trouble with the whole, oh, women's movement and women's wrestling. We have to show them on our product, but we're not going to show them any respect, so you shouldn't either because we don't treat them with respect. What's the point in any of that? It's ridiculous. So you want me to get excited for this 20 women's battle royal later on, and you want me to get excited for these 30 women that we've now got in developmental on NXT, where we've all kind of established some story and character to almost every one of these 30 women. But what's the point? Why should I be invested? You're just going to have them go up to the main roster eventually, have a 2-minute match where there's 6 of them, and the 24/7 titles changes 6 times in 2 minutes, and then the whole match doesn't even really care anything. So none of this makes sense. In the back, Zion Quinn says, I thought you could see into the future, Apollo Crews. Well, you didn't see me coming last week, huh? Apollo had to come back to NXT because he couldn't cut it in WWE. But me, I'm a superstar. I'm the X Factor. So decent little promo by Zion Quinn. It makes sense that he would make fun of Apollo Crews for coming back to NXT because Zion Quinn's whole thing is that he is the when you type in WWE superstar on Google, you see an image of him. So that's his whole gimmick right now. I also like how he brought up the same thing I brought up on last week's review, that, it apparently Apollo Crews can't see into the future. But maybe it was a long con. Apollo Crews just wanted to get Zion Quinn into a false sense of security. Maybe Apollo Crews can see into the future still. We'll just have to wait and see how that story plays out. Roderick Strong now comes out, and it'll be another Diamond Mine versus Diamond Mine match, and we go to an ad break. So Roderick Strong will fight Damon Kemp when they come back. But when we do come back, we see Indy Hartwell in the back. She says, so far, it's been failing solo. I don't know what I wrote there, but something about being solo and everything it's been everything except a smooth ride. I'm still searching for what's missing, but recent action tells me that you can't trust anyone, and battle royals exemplify that. I will win. So I kind of wrote that down weird, but Indy Hartwell's basically saying, yeah, she had the whole family in the way. Then she had her husband, Dexter Loomis and stuff, and her tag partner, Persia Parada, but she's been having struggling being on her own. But now that she sees people like Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez winning the tag titles, then breaking up, she's saying she can't trust anyone. So, that she's fine by herself anyway, kind of deal. So Damon Kemp now comes out to his own music, and he's already in the ring. We start this match off with some great amateur style wrestling. Kemp is the older brother of Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, and Roderick's able to take control even with the weight disadvantage here. Roderick has so much more experience in professional wrestling than Damon Kemp does. So Strong fights back and hits some nice elbow drop, then a deadlift gut wrench suplex, and that should have been Kemp. Kemp fought back with a nice elbow drop and a deadlift, showing his strength here. But Roddy rolls out of the ring and hits the ropes into Kemp's, as Wade Barrett calls it, a tallywhacker. And then Vic, the other announcer, says, "What's a tallywhacker?" And Wade says, "Don't worry, you don't have one," which was pretty funny. This match is pretty even at this point, but Kemp maybe is a little more damaged. And every time Kemp tries to make a comeback, Roderick finds a way to counter using his experience again. For example, Kemp tries to gets out of a headlock, but Roderick quickly quickens the pace and keeps control. So the crowd's now rallying behind Kemp, who finally rolls away, but Kemp is what's his name? Roderick rolls away, but Kemp is able to go back on the attack. Great looking offense from Kemp in this match. If Gable Steveson, Kemp's brother, is any bit as quick a learner as Kemp is, then we might have seriously the next Kurt Angle in Gable Steveson. And it's not just of course, they're both the 2 Olympic gold medalists that have ever been in WWE, but over here, non-Olympic gold medalist, the older brother of Gable Steveson, Bobby, who is Damon Kemp, is a quick learner over here in NXT. So that bodes well for Gable Steveson. As Gable Steveson is just like Damon Kemp, but even better because Damon Kemp never won a gold medal. We might be looking at a true superstar in the making with Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson does want to finish his senior year in the amateur ranks at college, which means he won't be But Gable Steveson won't be in action in WWE until the next spring when he finishes his senior year in amateur wrestling. But if he's any good as his brother Damon Kemp, Gable Stevenson's going to be amazing because Damon Kemp's already great and he's barely had any experience in the business. Um, so we definitely this match is hot, and but even we see Tony D'Angelo on the video board. So big developments here. All four members of the Tony family, excluding Elektra Lopez and Santos Escobar, who Elektra Lopez is getting ready for a battle royal, and Santos Escobar has been taken out and put in the hospital. So Tony D'Angelo says, "These diamonds of yours, they ain't shining no more. The only thing that's forever is Tony D." So Damon Kemp goes the run to the back, but Roderick Strong hits a big knee lift to the chin for the 1-2-3. The winner by pinfall is Roderick Strong. Strong just kind of casually walks to the back to go check on the Creed brothers who just got attacked. So Kemp then goes after them in the back now. Pretty Deadly are making fun of Cowboys. They say they've got all the cleaning bits. We need to clean that trailer trash. But don't worry, I've got aftershave because those titles must smell. So just more of the stuff we've seen them making fun of the rednecks here. And then in the back, Briggs and Jenson get a good speech from Fallon Henley. And she says, "Don't worry about me. I'll win this battle royal. Just stay focused." And Jenson says, "They talk down to us, but they're going to get a country butt whipping tonight." So that match is next. It will be for the NXT UK tag titles, the first ever defense in America for those titles. So after the ad break, the Creeds are now trying to get up from their beatdown from the Tony D'Angelo family. Roderick Strong says, "What the hell's going on? It doesn't matter how many people were there. You should have beat them." And they're like, "But it was 4-on-2. It doesn't matter." And then Kemp says, Kemp comes in and Roderick tells Kemp, "What the hell was that?" So Roderick Strong is hilarious. Roderick says, "Tony D's gonna have to pay for this." So I'm loving this story here. Roderick is even meaner to the Diamond Mine than ever, but they will all have to put that aside to fight the Tony D'Angelo family in what we see seems like a 4-on-4 battle that we'll see. So once the family is taken care of, we'll see if Diamond Mine explodes after that, or maybe this brings them even closer. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kick they kicked Roderick Strong out of Diamond Mine, just like Edge got kicked out of his own stable. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. But this whole battle against the family now might bring them closer together, and we don't know what will happen. So I'm definitely intrigued. I like the whole 4-on-4 battle here between two of the bigger stables in NXT. So now it's time for that tag title match, NXT UK. Pretty Deadly come out. They've got cowboy outfits on. Briggs and Jenson come out with Fallon Henley. They've got so much cowbell in their music. It's almost too much, but then it's so much that it turns into amazing. It's just like overkill on the cowbell. It's pretty funny. So these two teams have never met on TV before, but they did have a house show match back on July 8th where Briggs and Jenson won that match at NXT house show. So a month ago when Ashton Carter and Oliver Smith won the NXT UK tag titles, Ashton got injured in that match, meaning they had to relinquish the titles. And it was just happenstance that Briggs and Jenson were in the UK at the time, and they actually won the vacant titles. They just happened to be there, and then they won the titles. So that was pretty crazy. Pretty Deadly can't stand that an American team now has the UK titles, especially two rednecks from the South. So I have no idea who will win this match. Maybe Pretty Deadly will win them and then just go home to take a visit and drop the titles back to someone in NXT UK, or Briggs and Jenson could keep the titles. I'm not quite sure what would happen here. So should be a pretty good match though. Briggs and Jenson have been improving and Pretty Deadly are already pretty good. So the crowd's chanting USA as we start the match. Wade says Briggs and Jenson couldn't even point out the USA on a map, which was funny. Elton Prince and Brooks Jensen will start this match. And gone is Jensen's cool hair, and that better look that he had has now devolved. Now it's terrible hair and jean shorts with cowboy boots. That looks terrible. It's a terrible outfit. The match starts back and forth. Pretty Deadly take control, but Briggs and Jenson get control back. Once Briggs tags in, he runs through both Pretty Deadly guys. Elton gets tossed out of the ring and completely takes out on accident Fallon Henley. So I was already thinking when Fallon Henley came out for this match, it was kind of risky because she exposes herself to an attack. She's got a big #1 contendership battle royal in the main event, but I did not expect it to be one of the men destroying her. That was a pretty interesting little development here. But It makes sense that Fallon would want to come out here and help her guys because this is a big title match. So we go to an ad break when that happens. When we come back, Wade makes all the same points I had just written down about Fallon Henley risking it here when she has a battle royal. Elton now has control over Jenson, who looks really stupid in his shorts. Tagged to Kit now, and they double team Jenson. They have Jenson isolated for a while now with quick tags in their corner. So the announcer mentions that Maximum Male Models might it makes sense because Pretty Deadly are kind of like they would make sense in the Maximum Male Models. So it was funny to hear them talk about it here. Brooks Jensen's now at critical damage and in trouble. The crowd rallies behind him, but Pretty Deadly make like 5 or 6 more quick tags to keep him in control. The crowd rallies again behind Jenson, but Elton is able to kick the hand of Josh away when Jenson goes for the tag, but Josh Briggs tags in quickly after that anyway. Pretty Deadly feed Biggs really well here. Briggs takes them both out. Wilson dodges a big, huge lariat that would have took his head off, but then hits Briggs with a running crossbody. Both men are down now. Josh needs to get it together because Jenson is still down. There's no one to tag. Elton throws one tag title to Kit and one tag title to Josh. So this distracts everyone, including the referee, and it's about to work in Pretty Deadly's favor. It looks like they're about to cheat the win, but Fallon Henley at the last moment grabs the title out of Kit Wilson's hands, and Fallon Henley has a hurt arm. She might have screwed over her chances for the Battle Royal, but she just helped her boys keep the NXT UK tag titles because right after that, Briggs and Jenson hit the high-low for the 1-2-3. Your winners by pinfall, and still NXT UK champions, tag team champions are Briggs and Jenson. So Fallon Henley taking one for the team here. She does not win the Battle Royal. Her arm prevents her from doing much in that match, and she's totally sacrificed her own title shot to keep the tag titles on Briggs and Jensen. So that definitely has to be commended. Then we see the Dyad or the Schism. I'm kind of unsure what their name is. It might be one of those deals like the House of Black is also the Kings of the Black Throne, depending if it's the trios version or the tag team version. So I'm still unsure on that. But Joe Gacy says they've now rebuilt themselves. They will be who they were meant to be. And Joe Gacy says the final step of purification will commence. So Joe Gacy baptizes both grizzled young veterans. They come up with new names, no beards. So Zach Gibson is now Rip Fowler, and James Drake is now Jagger Reed. Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed. Could you come up with more like, oh, we need some English sounding names like Jagger Reed? I can't wait for Wade to say it's got moves like Jagger. But wow, so can you imagine if Grimes joins this group and also gets baptized and clean shaven? That would be wild. So I'm not sure about how I feel about these new names and looks. I kind of like them as just druids, but I understand it wasn't really working out, and it is hot in the summer here, so I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. But I like the whole they were druids thing. Now they're just clean shaven versions of grizzled young veterans. James Drake, Zach Gibson, who's now Rip Fowler, had some like contacts and crazy eyes on him. Other than that, they pretty much look the same. They're just clean shaven. We'll have to see where this story develops. But like I said, we do have the new story development of Joe Gacy going after the downtrodden and sad Cameron Grimes, the same way he did with the Grizzly Young Veterans. So now we see Braun Breaker has returned to NXT from his shoulder injury. Braun's running through the back looking for JD as McDonagh as we go to ad break. So when we come back, Wes Lee is wearing an amazing shirt, and he's with Mackenzie Mitchell, and Wesley says everyone's after me, but first and foremost, Grayson Waller's blaming me for not winning the North American title. If he was 1/10 as good as he says he is, he would have won the title. And first it's Waller, and then I'll deal with Trick Williams. So great promo here by Wesley. He showed a lot of character. Wesley has a ton of chemistry with interviewer Mackenzie Mitchell. Her and Wes spent a lot of time together in Impact Wrestling, so that makes sense. They have great chemistry. That was a really, really good promo by Wesley. I hope that you get some more opportunities. Speaking of people that are great in the ring and getting more opportunities, where the heck has Nathan Frazier been? Are they trying to put some kind of crazy? Is he about to be a superhero or something like that too? Because where the heck Nathan Frazier. Remember how great he impressed everyone in that one main event against Cameron Grimes? And then we got to see that whole backstage video about Nathan Frazier talking about his life, but now we haven't seen Nathan Frazier in like over a month. So it makes me wonder that. But at least we get to see Wesley here. Great promo by Wesley. Now in the ring, Braun Breaker's out, and he says, I do have respect for Cameron Grimes because at least he attacked me from the front, but I have no respect for JD McDonagh, who'd attacked from behind. JD, you wanted my attention, you got it, and you will pay. So on the video screen now is JD McDonagh. And I am not joking when I say JD McDonagh has a naked mannequin behind him, and it's super creepy. So JD says he will dissect Braun Breaker, and Grimes might have hurt you, but I'm going to disable you. And I know what you're thinking. I'll fight through the pain, right? But there's only so much trauma the brain can go through before it shuts off. So Braun interrupts now and says, someday you'll have to be in the ring with me. And how about you take the balls from your mannequin and get out here? So JD says, mind your shoulder, and this segment ends. So if you remember when JD McDonagh was having those vignette introducing himself, we saw that it basically looked like he was playing the character from the movie Psycho, and that's kind of confirmed here. So JD was talking about all the ligaments in the shoulder and how he's gonna do this and that. So he was kind of whispering through his promo like Jake the Snake style. So we've kind of got a Jake the Snake Roberts Psycho type character for JD McDonagh, which I think he can do a good job. He was coming off as very creepy. And then he can back it up in the ring with some good submissions and stuff where he was talking about, I'm going to break this ligament and that ligament, and good stuff here. I wouldn't even mind a JD McDonagh title reign, having him beat Braun Breaker. I would not mind that. So we now see that footage I was talking about earlier, where I saw the tweet that from Friday at SmackDown outside of the arena. So now we are in Orlando. Remember, same town as NXT is in. So Solo Sikoa is assumingly going to go visit his family members in the bloodline. But then Von Wagner comes out of nowhere. And again, we are in the parking lot outside of the arena before SmackDown, and Von Wagner attacks Solo Sikoa. So it doesn't last very long. It almost wasn't even worth it. Was only 20 seconds at the most. But Von Wagner hits about 4 big shots and then just stops and says, I left the Street Fighter laying in the streets. So kind of a nothing promo here. I like it, though. It shows that they're doing stuff throughout the week, which we've kind of established on NXT, which we have like Chase U left at some point for the for a field trip to the UK. We've seen all kinds of different barbershops and nail salons and penthouses with champagne parties and all kinds of different. So I love. Oh, and don't forget Fallon Henley's bar. So this is something we could definitely see more and more going forward on NXT, where they'll show, oh, this happened on Thursday and this happened on Saturday at the nail salon, and Friday night at Fallon Henley's bar, this happened. So I would definitely love to see more and more of that. Then it makes it feel like this is like an ever breathing, real, legitimate universe where they don't only just appear for 2 hours on Tuesday night, they have a whole week of things where that can happen. So I would definitely love to see more of this going forward. This one was only like 20 seconds, like I said, so it wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things, but it does bring up that idea, which I would like to see. So now we see a completely rip-off Marvel style opening. It's for Axiom, the new debut here. It was pretty cool, I guess, but it was a complete Marvel rip-off, which it's good to have inspiration from things, but you don't want to completely rip them off. Then you just look second rate. So after the ad break, Mackenzie Mitchell's now with all the men in the Diamond Mine, everybody except Ivy Nile. Julius says it's on site, Tony, which we we heard said on AEW a lot, the on site line. So Roderick now says, take that stupid hat off, Tony. Diamond Mine is the strongest family in NXT. So like I was saying, it looks like all of Diamond Mine, even though they had a ton of infighting, they're going to all band together to fight a common enemy. So that should be pretty fun. We'll see how that goes. And then if Diamond Mine can survive after the fight with Tony D'Angelo's family. So Axiom now comes out, that is formerly known as A Kid. He's got very generic superhero music. And yeah, he comes out looking just like a luchador, bro. So there's math equations all over the LED board for Axiom. He's got a really cool stop motion entrance type thing to make it look like he's the Flash or something. And yeah, Axiom is still math related, even though he's a superhero. So the two videos we saw in the last 2 weeks about Axiom are combined. That is his personality. He's a mathematician that can see numbers when he even closes his eyes and stuff like that. And he is also a comic book fan that wants to be a superhero and uses his math to be a superhero. So already in the ring is Dante Chen, and Axiom starts with some really quick pace luchador style offense, then wows the crowd with a beautiful drop kick, flipping out of it. Dante comes back into the ring and takes control, kind of like JD McDonagh was earlier. Some good attacks from the outside, innovative attacks. Dante then hits two big strikes for a 2 count. Axiom turns it around with some more quick, innovative offense. Then Axiom hits a big leg lariat super kick for the 1-2-3. So it's hard to describe, but Axiom is just so super silky smooth with his movements in the ring. Like, think about the great Khali's movements or Omos, and then imagine the exact opposite, and that would be Axiom. He's just so smooth with his movements in the ring, and it does feel just a little bit awkward that they made him look almost exactly like every other luchador. This is the first ever wrestler in WWE from Spain, something that was very unique. And then they just make him look like every other luchador from Mexico. I hate to break it to you, 60-year-old white guys that run NXT, but Spain and Mexico are not the same. They don't even have the same race. When the Mexicans got their independence, they wanted to distance themselves from their Spanish colonists, and they mixed with the natives to create a new race that the Mexicans now call La Raza. So to just throw a mask on the first ever Spanish wrestler in WWE and have him basically play the role of a Mexican luchador, in my opinion, is racist. So let's just move on. But A-Kid / Axiom is amazing in the ring. Anyway, in the back, Lash Legend says this battle royal will be easy due to her size and power. And now the Fire will find out nobody messes with Lash Legend. So yeah, that's one of the many interlocking feuds that'll be in this battle royal. One of them is Lash Legend and Alba Fire. So many interlocking feuds. And we're told up next it'll be Carmelo Hayes. He has got something to tell us at the barbershop. So no clue what Melo will say here, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Every single barbershop segment has always hit. So after the ad break, this was pretty funny. We're in the parking lot, the dreaded parking lot. I thought, whoa, is someone else going to get taken out? But no, this is pretty funny. Giovanni Vinci's in the parking lot. He's about to get into like a Lamborghini or some kind of sports car. Some woman says, "Can I have a picture with you?" Vinci says, "Yeah, sure." But she wants, no, I mean, like, can I be in the picture too? And Vinci tells her to get out of here. Uh, and then he tries to get into his fancy car, but then the Chase U bus blocks his way. Bodie Hayward and Thea Hale, apparently, I think they're just coming back from their field trip to the UK. Maybe, I'm not quite sure, but they annoy the hell out of Vinci, and Vinci yells at Thea Hale to not touch his car and stuff like that. So it looks like Giovanni Vinci is going to enter a feud with Chase U. I guess that's good for Bodie Hayward if he gets a match, but there isn't much value in an Andre Chase versus Giovanni Vinci. Those are two guys that are already past the development stage. They don't need any more in-ring work, but I guess we could see some character work between Andre Chase and Giovanni Vinci. So maybe that's the point. But of course, Bodie Hayward only has I think less than 20 matches in his career, where Vinci and Andre Chase have so much experience. So it will be a good learning experience if Bodie Hayward does get in the ring with Vinci. Anyway, we're in the barbershop now. We again see Jakara Jackson, who is on the NXT roster, but she has never made her debut yet. We saw her in the barbershop last time. So she is the woman with bright red hair, and if you've noticed in these barbershop segments. So they talk about Solo Sikoa, but then mention that he's busy with Von Wagner. Mello says Giovanni Vinci, he's cool, but he just got here. He doesn't deserve a shot. Apollo Crews is lucky that he's even on my show. Mello says Wes Lee is obsessed with you, Trick. And then Trick says, well, he needs to be obsessed with his match next week because Grayson Waller is going to lie and Wes Lee's going to cry. Wes Lee's eyes all jacked up. If you remember, ether or chloroform or something was used by Trick Williams to beat Wesley. So now everyone, like, Trick Williams takes his hat off, and everyone in the barbershop makes fun of Trick's hair. Mel says, "Oh, it's not that bad," but then motions for the barber to fix it. But this was beyond me. I mean, his hair looked fine to me, but then again, I'm a white guy, so I don't really understand these kind of things. I've never even been in a barbershop in my life. So anyway, next week it will be Wesley versus Grayson Waller and Apollo Crews versus Zion Quinn, and it should be pretty good episodes. Those sound like two pretty good matches right there. So in the back, Toxic Attraction are there. Mandy is asked by Mackenzie Mitchell. Mackenzie asks, who you think will win? Mandy says, Tatum Paxley. Then goes to leave. Mackenzie wants to know more, though. Mandy's annoyed and says, well, I just said Tatum Paxley because it was the first name I thought of. Can you leave me alone? Now Ivy Nile comes in and she says she's winning. Kiana James comes in and says that her equations will help her win. And then Alba Fire comes in and says, Mandy, I'm going to burn Toxic Attraction to the ground. So again, one of those interlocking storylines throughout all of the women's division. Alba Fire never really got her full revenge, or not even revenge, but she was wanting to take out Toxic Attraction and has not done so yet. So I could definitely see Alba Fire being the next NXT champion. She's an amazing in ring, and it would make sense, this long story she's had trying to take out Toxic Attraction. So Alba Fire's music hits, and she makes her cool fire entrance, and it's time for the main event after the ad break. So this is a 20 women battle royal, number one contendership match for the NXT women's title. I'll tell you right now who's in it. It'll be Yulisa Leon, Sloane Jacobs, Lash Legend, Tatum Paxley, Tiffany Stratton, Elektra Lopez, Arianna Grace, Valentina Ferrar, Kiana James, Sarray, which I don't think Sarray was actually in it. Sarray got replaced. So Sarray was on the little picture for them. I think Sarray is still in the UK, actually. So I think it was just purposely false advertising, and we do get a surprise entrance instead. So no Sarray, even though she was on the picture. We also got in this match Wendy Choo, Amari Miller, Fallon Henley, who has a hurt arm from earlier, remember, Indy Hartwell, Cora Jade, Alba Fire, Nikita Lyons, Katana Chance, Caden Carter, and Ivy Nile. So from the 20 women we were told at the beginning, take out Sarray, and we've got a surprise making her return. So which is unfortunate. Sarray is one of my favorites. Great to see, though, all the women in NXT getting so many chances on NXT. I mean, on TV, but like I was saying earlier, just pathetic that what's the point of having a tag division and then just getting rid of it? You know what I mean? So anyway, in these last 6 months, NXT has introduced about 20 or so new women, and it pays off here as almost everyone in the match has some kind of story. Almost everyone, because the stories have not started yet for Sloane Jacobs, Amari Miller, and Arianna Grace. They've been introduced. We've been told a tiny bit of their character, but those three have not had any story yet. So maybe this could be a point in time where you could have had one of those three win and their story could start tonight. But in my mind, there was 5 clear favorites that could win this match. So Ivy now has been a monster in the women's division, but I don't think she needs the battle royal. She could earn a title shot with her own merits, so I don't think it'll be Ivy. Alba Fire has a really good chance. I felt like her rivalry with Mandy had a lot more juice left in it, so if they wanted to go that route. Nikita Lyons is the internet wrestling community's top choice. That 3D chest shot from last week must have been super effective, so everyone on the internet wants Nikita Lyons to win. She also has a story going along where she got injured halfway through the breakout tournament, so she's got a natural story to win this as well. Sarray would have been my top choice, but she's not even in the freaking match. She must be in NXT UK, but she has had a lot of success in NXT UK and training under Mako Satomura, the NXT UK Women's Champion. And then, of course, there's Cora Jade, who's definitely one of the favorites to win, and it would make sense to give her a title shot right after costing Roxanne the title. So Wendy Choo and Tiffany Stratton have a shot, but I don't think I think Tiffany will be saved for a title shot whenever Mandy loses the title to a babyface. Then they'll go into a feud with Tiffany Stratton. And then I think Wendy Choo just is too much of a gimmick to be champion, in my opinion. And then I put a little bit of a note. Maybe if you saw SmackDown, we are debuting a new character named Maxine Dupree. That's formerly LA Knight, now known as Max Dupree's sister, and she's going to be part of Maximum Male Models. I thought maybe Tiffany Stratton would have been, if that's going to be someone from NXT, Tiffany Stratton could have been repackaged as Maxine Dupree. Probably good that she didn't, because the Maxine Dupree character probably would be a death sentence. And there's at least a 50-50 chance it's just going to be some actress that we've never seen before, and it won't be an NXT call-up. But keep an eye on that. If you're an NXT fan that doesn't really watch the main roster, but you care about call-ups, keep an eye on who Maxine Dupree is going to be. So anyway, we come back from the ad break and we see Cameron Grimes. He's in pain. He's got his he's about to leave before the main event. So remember, Cameron Grimes yelled at Idris Enofe and Malik Blade for, how could you dare leave before the main event? So here is Cameron Grimes walking away before the main event match. And Cameron Grimes now is yelling because an interviewer has tried to stop him, and he yells, I said I'm not now after I lost the North American title. I said not now after I lost the Braun. And I'm saying again, not now. So Joe Gacy walks up and he says, I know what you're going through, Cameron. And Grimes yells, not now, and then just leaves. So really interesting here. Again, don't forget that Cameron Grimes yelled at Malik Blade and Idris Enofe for leaving before the main event. And now Cameron Grimes does the same thing. So to me, that pretty much confirms Cameron Grimes will be a heel going forward and will probably join Joe Gacy and the Dyad or the Schism, whatever their name is. So that should be interesting. Of clean shaven Cameron Grimes as part of a cult. That could be what we're seeing coming up soon. So in the back, back at the ring, Elektra Lopez is now making her entrance to Tony D'Angelo's music. She's part of the family now. And in the back, we see Tony D'Angelo. He says Elektra will win this battle royal, and then says Diamond Mine are fugazi tough guys that can't fight in the streets. We accept their offer. Bring your towels and singlets. But next week, Diamond Mine is finished. So that's going to be a great. I hope that's the main event 4-on-4 match. Tony D'Angelo's family versus the Diamond Mine, and neither stables really get along with each other. Remember, Legado del Fantasma is forced into their partnership with Tony D'Angelo, and then the Diamond Mine is on the verge of imploding. So should get a lot of story from that next week. I'm really looking forward to it. So back in the ring now, Cora Jade's now making her entrance. She's the last one to make her entrance. She's wearing the same purple gear she had on last week, and the crowd is booing her big time. So I said it was the last one, but we get a surprise entrant, and I was wondering if it was 21 women battle royal, but no, I'm 100% positive Sarray was advertised, but Sarray was never in this match. So instead, we get the returning Zoe Stark. She returns from injury. It's been since November since she's been out, and all those QR codes that you've been seeing was about Zoe's return. I think the first number was the day she got injured, and then I didn't really look at the QR codes past that point. But the first QR code was the date of her injury. The bell rings, and all 19 women turn to Cora Jade, which was hilarious. Cora Jade is public enemy number one in the women's locker room. Cora runs around and goes through the ropes, not over the top, and runs away. Ivy now goes to chase Cora, but Cora gets away and Ivy just goes back. So remember that Cora has not been eliminated. I thought that pretty much spelled the ending, but there is a swerve. So everyone else now starts battling each other. Toxic Attraction, we see are watching from the Toxic Lounge. And Ivy now, like I said, is back in the ring now. She wasn't able to catch Cora Jade. Amari Miller, unfortunately, out first right away from Ivy now. Amari Miller eliminated. Arianna Grace celebrates not getting eliminated. On the apron, she's celebrating, which is really stupid. She gets eliminated. Arianna Grace does. Lash Legend now uses Alba Fire as like a swinging around like a baseball bat, hitting other people with the body of Alba Fire. Then Lash Legend and Alba Fire eliminate each other at the same time. So there goes one of the favorites right there. Alba Fire was a favorite to win this match and a favorite to win her match against Mandy Rose. So Alba Fire is gone. Is this Cora Jade's the win now? I write. So Tiffany throws Wendy out, but Wendy lands on a pillow. So apparently that does not count as an elimination. Kind of sketchy if you ask me, but Nikita Lyons eliminates Yulisa Leon after that. And Zoe now throws out Valentina Ferrar, but Yulisa Leon catches her partner Ferrar, but Zoe Starks kicks them over, eliminating Ferrar. Fallon Henley's arm has been giving her trouble all battle royal. She gets eliminated. Her sacrifice for her boys, Briggs and Jenson, truly cost her any chance of winning the battle royal. Tiffany now eliminates Wendy Choo by hitting Wendy in the head with Wendy's own speak up. So we go to a picture-in-picture ad break now. Within that, Sloane Jacobs gets eliminated by Katana Chance and Caden Carter, who are working together. And they both work together again to eliminate Elektra Lopez, who was a pretty big, one of the biggest women in the match size-wise. So that was a pretty big deal. When we come back from break, there's 9 women left in the ring, plus Jade, who is not out there. Katana and Caden now work together to eliminate Ivy Nile. There goes another favorite. But like I said, it makes sense. Ivy Nile can get a title shot at any point that they want to give her a title shot because she's pretty much undefeated in singles matches. I'm pretty sure she is. She's lost tag matches and battle royals and stuff like that, but Ivy Nile is undefeated as a singles competitor. Then Katana Chance and Caden Carter both get eliminated, and stupidly, Tatum Paxley eliminates herself. Caden Carter and Katana Chance were starting to attack Ivy Nile. If you remember that little Caden Carter and Katana Chance have had some beef with Tatum Paxley, and then Ivy now came to Tatum Paxley's aid. But Tatum Paxley eliminates herself by springboarding over the top rope to save Ivy now from getting the beat down. Really dumb look there. Tiffany then eliminates Indy Hartwell, and it's down to Nikita Lyons, Tiffany Stratton, Kiana James, and Zoe Starks. Or just Zoe Stark. So that's in the ring anyway. Jade's not in the ring, but she's not eliminated yet. Nikita then takes control and knocks down all 3 women. Huge kicks to Kiana James, makes Kiana an easy target to eliminate now, and she does. Then Tiffany eliminates Nikita Lyons from behind. So wow, I'm guessing that'll be the next feud going forward, and it should be a great feud. Tiffany Stratton versus Nikita Lyons. So it probably definitely ensures that Tiffany Stratton will not be Maxine Dupree on SmackDown, which is good news. The announcers act like the whole match that they forgot about Jade, which is just Tiffany Stratton and Zoe Stark then battle. It looks like they're the final 2, but don't forget Jade's still in it. Zoe counters a handspring elbow into a suplex and just throws out Tiffany Stratton. So the announcers act like Zoe Stark wins, but the bell never rings. Jade out from behind now, but Zoe must have heard her coming and just easily throws Jade over the top rope. And your winner is the surprise entrant, returning from injury since November, Zoe Stark. So Zoe Stark is the number 1 contender. That should be a decent match with Mandy Rose. I wouldn't put the belt on Zoe Stark. She doesn't really even have a story as of this moment. So never really good to put the belt on people that have absolutely no story. Her only story right now is that she's returned from injury, which isn't much of a story. So we'll see what shakes out. Maybe they can throw some story on Zoe Stark as we go here. Mandy holds up her title high in the Toxic Lounge as Zoe's staring through her while celebrating. And I like that win. That's a good story there. I like you could have had Nikita Lyons or Ivy Nile or Alba Fire win, but like all 3 of those can get title shots on their own, I believe. I don't think they need the battle royal, and it probably makes sense to not just give it to a random like Arianna Grace or Amari Miller or Sloane Jacobs. So having a returning Zoe Stark win is probably the best decision here. Pretty good stories throughout. Can't wait for that Tiffany Stratton versus Nikita Lyons feud. That should be great. I don't think Zoe will beat Mandy, but it should be a decent match. Zoe Stark is a pretty good wrestler, so all in all, pretty good episode of NXT 2.0. Nothing mind blowing with the in-ring action, although JD McDonagh and oh hey Hassan, how you doing? Nothing like groundbreaking, but that JD McDonagh versus Cameron Grimes match was really good. So I recommend if you didn't watch it, go watch it. They have over 1,000 matches in their career, and this is their first match ever against each other. But this NXT 2.0 was overshadowed by the news that obviously WWE and NXT do not care about the women's tag division anymore. We got the NXT women's tag title thrown in the trash, and I do not think we will ever see it again unless we can get other people in charge. Once we get other people in charge of everything, they might bring them back, but until that point, the women's tag division in both the main roster and NXT are gone, and that is a tragedy. Why would you have something already introduced? You've already introduced it. You already have a little bit of lineage. What's the point in getting rid of it? There's no benefit to just getting rid of it. There's only bad things. Like, I've already explained throughout many times in this review, but it's just ridiculous. So that kind of overshadows everything in this episode. So we've got one episode which almost kind of got overshadowed by the damn skateboard breaking. But even if you can look past the skateboard breaking in the last episode, it was a episode long who done it arc where everyone and their mothers knew Cora Jade was the attacker. So that wasn't that exciting. Now we get this one. The big story arc throughout this one was the battle royal, and that ended up being pretty good. And I like the Zoe Stark win and the return and all that. But you're also telling me that you guys clearly don't care about the women's division, so why should I? Sure, you're doing this stuff, and they're and NXT is way better than WWE about giving their women's wrestlers stories, but there's absolutely no reason to get rid of the tag titles. So it's ridiculous. I really like what they're doing with the Cameron Grimes story. I hope that Cameron Grimes turns heel, accepts the offer from Joe Gacy willingly, doesn't have to be talked into it or anything. Like I said, the fact that Cameron Grimes walked out before the main event only a month after yelling at Malik Blade and Idris Enofe for doing the same thing completely foreshadows that Cameron Grimes is now a heel. Cameron Grimes has already turned heel. Cameron Grimes turned heel tonight by walking out before the main event started. And that's a fact. So we'll see where this goes. I'm really looking forward. I love the idea that they did with having Tony D'Angelo's family fight the Diamond Mine. Now, all of a sudden, right when it looked like the Diamond Mine was going to implode and break up, they all have to band together and fight a different four-man team. So it could bring them together, or it could cause the absolute downfall. So we'll have to see how that shakes up. I'm really looking forward to that. That should be our main event next week. I loved Axiom looked great in his debut, although still a little racist for them. Oh, you're from Spain? Here, put on this mask and act like a luchador. There's Spanish people and Mexican people are so different than each other. They are not the same thing, but it seems like 60-year-old and 70-year-old white men just see them. Oh, he's Spanish and he's Mexican. They both speak Spanish. They're the same. Just throw a luchador mask on the Spaniard and he'll be a luchador from now on. So that's kind of bad right there. That I don't like that. But the Axiom character does seem like he has some story with them, with the whole math. It's not just a superhero gimmick. It has a whole math thing behind it, like Goodwill Hunting, or if you ever seen the television show Numbers, that kind of guy. So he also looks so Axiom is so super silky smooth in the ring. The way he just glides around the ring, he's even glides around better than like a Seth Rollins, and Seth is one of the best in WWE at that. So Axiom, I hope he can go far. I hope we can get Axiom on the main roster, fighting people like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in epic matches. So that might be your next quote unquote luchador to make it to the main roster, which is ridiculous if Axiom makes it there before Santos Escobar, who's one of the best luchadors in the entire world and is actually from Mexico. He's not unlike Axiom. So we'll see how that shakes up. Overall, like I said, pretty good episode. It's just really got a bad taste in my mouth with them getting rid of the tag titles. And it confirms that we're not going to ever see the WWE version of the women's tag title either. Another great barbershop segment. Hopefully we get something from Jakara Jackson soon. This is the second time we've seen her in the barbershop. Carmelo Hayes is always great when he's talking. It looks like Giovanni Vinci is going to start something with Chase U that has potential for a lot of hilarity. And don't forget the amazing promo from, it was short, but it was a really good promo from Wesley, and it was great because he had chemistry with Mackenzie Mitchell all the way back from their time when they were in Impact together. So a lot of good things. The Von Wagner and Solo Sikoa rivalry is continuing. Again, it looks like Solo Sikoa is not getting a North American title shot, which is kind of awkward. And we're building to a Braun Breaker JD McDonagh title match at some point. So a lot's going on. Every time NXT 2.0 comes on, you know you're going to get about 20 segments in a 2-hour span. You're never going to have like a 20-minute epic match like we have on old takeovers and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean we can't have 20-minute epic matches at the special events when we have like the last one was in your house. So there's still potential for that. We're bringing more and more great wrestlers in to go with the ones they're trying to develop. We've got people on the roster like Giovanni Vinci, JD McDonagh, Cameron Grimes, Wes Lee, Axiom, and Nathan Frazier if he ever comes back. So all of those guys are epic, epic in the ring. Those guys fit the black and gold mold. They're here in NXT 2.0. We might get the return of Triple H in Power at NXT 2.0 at any given time, or maybe Triple H is already in Power. So I think things are looking up for all the people that left NXT 2.0 when the black and gold left. I think it's a good time to maybe get back in. There's a lot of really good wrestlers that you would have enjoyed on the black and gold if it wasn't all pl- multicolored now and stuff. So give it a shot, check it out. Just know that it's very gimmicky. I grew up watching wrestling in the early 90s, so there was trash men and plumbers and stuff like that. I know what true gimmicks look like. This is way better than that. Everybody has a gimmick, like oh, you got your mathematician here and stuff like that, but they actually give them stories and they flesh out their characters, which is something we don't see on the main roster at all. So NXT 2.0 is probably the best product on in WWE uh, yet again. So just like when it was the black and gold, NXT is the superior product over Raw or SmackDown. Now, some of those WWE pay-per-views, those are really good because we actually get to see like 10, 15, 20-minute matches from the WWE roster. There's some great wrestlers on the actual main roster. But as far as if I had if I was sat down and told I can only watch Raw or I could only watch NXT 2.0 or if I can only watch SmackDown, I'm choosing NXT 2.0 without even thinking about it. You get 20 different segments within a 2-hour span coming at you fast. It's kind of fast like that. You got to stay on your feet, but it's enjoyable. It is enjoyable. So I'm going to get going. Other than the stupid trashing the women's tag titles, I really like this episode. A lot of things. I like all the stories. So many stories going on right now. And it could lead to some really good matches in the future. Like I said, we got a lot of really good wrestlers to go with the ones that we are developing. We got half the roster now, it seems like experienced people, and the other half have had 20 matches or less. That's a great roster for your development. You can have the people that only had 15 matches fight the ones that have 500, and then so on and so forth. And then everybody gains experience. That's why like Roderick Strong is still stuck in NXT and wasn't released from his contract when he wanted to go with his friends and wife over in AEW. They wanted Roderick Strong to stay around. They wanted Andre Chase. Andre Chase is never going to make the main roster. But guess what? Andre Chase might have a job in NXT for the next decade. Yes, I could see Andre Chase staying in NXT 2.0 for 10 years. And here's why. They could have Chase U become like this stable where they have people graduate and then you bring in new recruits and so on and so forth for a decade. So that's the kind of thing they're doing here. Andre Chase like was brought in never to become a big star, but he's got over 10, 15 years of experience throughout the world, especially in tag team wrestling if they wanted a tag team specialist. So really good. I like what they're doing. And we heard reports that they're going to bring in more indie guys again soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if like a Blake Christensen ends up coming back. I forget his name, but he was about to have a romance with Cora Jade, if you remember that guy. And he's been tearing it up. I could see maybe like a speedball Mike Bailey, who's a top 5 wrestler in the world, coming in, being signed. And we could start having things like we used to have in the black and gold, where all of a sudden Finn Balor joins from Japan. And all of a sudden Kevin Owens joins from ROH. And then, here's Bobby Roode from TNA. So it might get back to that at a point. And in the meantime, I like the development where NXT Black and Gold kind of had a rough time transitioning to the 2-hour format every week live over what they had in the past. It forced them to be more like WWE main roster, where they had to have long drawn out segments and they have to fill the 2 hours and stuff like that. But now NXT 2.0 has perfected. We've got 50 people we want to feature in a 2-hour show. Let's have 15 to 20 different segments back to back to back, all coming at you fast. Nothing on the screen for too long. Then we can have 20 different like social media videos go out with all these 20 different segments, get people interested in the product and stuff like that. So I really do enjoy what they're doing here in NXT 2.0. And I think it could get back to the glory days, and if it's given some time, and if they can get back the fan base that felt disrespected by the whole NXT 2.0 change and the whole kind of crapping on the. They literally chopped the black and gold X in half with the new champion Braun Breaker. So they literally pushed all those fans away, saying, "Screw you guys! I don't care if you like it or not. It's going to be NXT 2.0 from now on." So we'll see. Maybe Triple H is back in power, or maybe he's not. We have no idea, but I'm definitely intrigued. So I'm gonna get going, and I'll be back. Well, basically, I'm here every day. So give me a subscribe. I review so many things on this, but I also have some of the deepest. I'm gonna have a lot of work to do actually, but one of the deepest universe modes on WWE 2K streams. As far as NXT people, I've got like Jakara Jackson and Sol Rucka, Hank Walker, all these people you might not even know. They're from NXT Level Up. They haven't even debuted on the NXT 2.0 show yet, but I have them in my universe mode. So I do have some work to do because just in this episode alone, we had the Druids not be Druids anymore. They're now Rip Fowler and Jagger something. Jagger Reed or ridiculous name. So I got some work to do on that. But I'm gonna get going, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Enjoy your day or night, and have a good one. Peace.